right, good morning everybody. Welcome to Mr. Brown's online class. Today we're going to be learning about a new tool. I know that we had tons of problems with the pen tool and we're going to try to maybe go back and look at that again. But today we're going to go ahead and move ahead and take a look at the clone stamp tool. And what I've got for you today is a pretty simple assignment that is going to focus on just getting the basic understanding of how the clone stamp tool works. So what is the clone stamp tool? The clone stamp tool is a tool that actually allows you to take pixels from another part of the image. Basically, you're cutting a little part of the image out and use it somewhere else to make it look like something isn't there. So we're gonna be covering up things we don't like with something else to make it look like it doesn't exist. Before you get started, make sure you go and download the image. There is a tutorial on Flurn for Photoshop. A whole video for that. Don't watch it because you're not gonna be able to do half of the stuff because we don't have access to Photoshop. So we're gonna do what we can do in Photopea.com. So download your image from Google Classroom, go ahead and open Photopea.com and let's get started. Once you have Photopea.com open, you're gonna have to open your image. So go to File and go to File, and mine isn't working, so I'm gonna reload mine. Go to File, there we go, and go to Open, and we're gonna go to Browse. And from Browse, what we're gonna look for is our image, which on my iPad, which is what I'm using, is my iPad. My school computer is 100% worthless and slow and doesn't really work. So I have to use my iPad to make stuff work. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come and find where we downloaded our file. For my iPad, it's right here. You on your Chromebook should know where it is. I'm just gonna click it and it is going to go ahead and open up my image. Next, we need to find our clone stamp tool. So on our toolbar, which is on the left on Photopea, it looks like, well, I don't know if you guys have ever seen a rubber stamp, but it looks kind of like a regular rubber stamp icon. So we're just gonna click on that and it changes the little toolbar up top. So we're going to need to click and change a few things. So here is our clone stamp tool, here is our brush tool, and that's where we need to start making a few adjustments. So I'm gonna click the down arrow beside of my brush tool, and I'm gonna change the size up probably closer to 60. 60 looks pretty good. And the hardness has to do with how much feathering is on the edge. It's either gonna have a very hard circle or it's gonna kind of taper off and be a little bit transparent. So I'm gonna turn my feathering down to 50% because it makes clone stamping a little bit easier if you have some feather turned on. The next step in clone stamping is we know that we need to get rid of some ugly stuff here in the background. And today we're gonna try to get rid of just a couple of things. If you wanna get rid of more things and keep practicing this, awesome. But I just want you to get rid of a couple of things to show you kind of understand how to use the tool. And the very first thing we're gonna focus on getting rid of is this manhole cover that's like right behind the girl. Not very sweet photograph when you have a gross manhole cover in the street. So we're gonna use the clone stamp tool to get rid of it. And the way we're gonna get rid of it is we're gonna try to sample an area of pixels that we can cover this up with and it won't look too bad. So I'm gonna come kind of right across the street over here, and I'm gonna hold down the Option on a Mac or Alt on a Chromebook or PC. I'm gonna hold down the Alt button and I'm gonna click, and I'm just gonna start to paint over here. And if you notice what it's doing, it is painting directly over the manhole cover. Be very careful not to erase part of her, but this is not, the most amazing work in the universe, but the manhole cover is effectively gone. So we did that. Very easy stuff. Next thing we want to do is let's try to get rid of this van in the back corner. It's not very attractive van. And so what we're gonna have to do is we need to kind of rebuild the street and rebuild the sidewalk. I'm gonna start by cloning some of the street right here and see if I can just carry that over. So I'm gonna hold down my Option or Alt button, and I'm just gonna come over here and slowly just begin to just erase this away and see how much of it I can get away. Just clicking, letting go, and re-clicking. This is, it's not looking great. I'm gonna turn my hardness down even further to about 15%. And it's not looking terribly good. Let's do some rebuilding over here. I want to copy this sidewalk. So I'm gonna hold down Option or Alt and click, and I'm just gonna come up here, and underneath your cursor, it gives you a little preview of what you're looking at, and I'm just gonna try to rebuild part of this corner of the sidewalk, maybe build out some of this. It's looking okay. Again, definitely not my best work, but not my worst. And using Photopea is not the easiest thing in the world. So I'm gonna next try to sample some of my building here. I'm gonna hold down the Option button again, and we're gonna try to drag some of these building pieces down. So I'm just moving down and trying to fill in. You can see that it kind of duplicated the light, but that's okay. We're gonna fill in some more parts over here. And it's getting almost where it needs to be. We've got a little bit of a problem right here. So I'm just gonna try to copy some more of the street, maybe right there, and fill this in just a little bit. Maybe copy, Alt click here, fill this in just a little bit. Let's see what all we can get cleaned up. So that looks almost okay. There's a little bit of the van left here in the corner, and it's almost unnoticeable. But if you want to get really picky, you can try to get rid of that. I think I'm just going to leave it for right now because it doesn't really look like a van that much anymore. It's kind of effectively covered up. Now, if I were doing this on Photoshop, I would have a lot more tools at hand, and I could do a lot more with this photo. But with Photopea, there's not a whole lot you can do. So we're doing what we can do, and we're going to make this work as good as possible. We're gonna try to practice something very similar to this tomorrow also. So spend a little bit of time practicing, messing around. Zoom in and see if you can erase some more. Do as much as you can, try to make it as good as you can, and then we're gonna save it and turn it in. So to save this image, you're gonna go up to File, go to Export As, and then you're gonna go to JPEG. You can leave the quality at 70%, turn it up to 100, somewhere between in there will be fine. And then you're just gonna click the Save button. And so for my iPad, it's asking me if I want to download it. I'm gonna click OK, it's gonna download, and that's pretty much it. From here, I'm just gonna go to Google Classroom and submit it. All right, guys, that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at william.brown@terrellict.org. You can also find me online on Remind at PRINOFAV1, PRINOFAV1. Make sure you're checking our instructional website, bit.ly/34JGJ, 3W for all of our weekly instruction. There'll be another assignment posted tomorrow. Have fun with this though. Look forward to seeing what y'all can do, and we'll see you again tomorrow.